Hell yeah, fam. Hell yeah, hell yeah. It's late night. It's footy up late. Just like the old Big Brother up late episodes. How are you, folks? Get in the chat. What's going down, friends? What's the cricket score? How's it going? I've just walked off stage. I'm in a weird mental headspace. And you're here for it. Who knows what I'll do? I don't even know what I'll do. I'm moments from going off the handle. I'll snap at you. Say something. I dare you. Come on. I'll find out where you live. Joined by Tom. Hi, Tom.
Hi, mate. I can say something about Monday if you like to set you off.
No.
No, wait till the podcast.
And
wait till
join-
the real thing.
Hey, Marnie.
G'day.
Is that a hot tea?
Yeah, it's peppermint and licorice. Well, it would be hot, but you lot didn't get here till 8:40, so.
Yes, we walked off stage at the beautiful Athenaeum Theatre, and I'm loving Tom. I took the sound bits off the back of Tom's shot because I am a Roger Deakins of this era. Roger Deakins being
Director.
cinematographer
Close
of.
enough. There's now nails just sticking out of the wall.
Yep, 3 of them.
Doesn't that annoy your eyes?
Well, I hate to correct you, but they are screws. So
Beggars
let's
can't be choosers.
Let's.
But my frame's funny. I feel like I've shrunk or something.
You have shrunk a little.
You look tiny. Why is your chair so low?
I don't know why my chair's so low. but
Tom's
I'm
been a
into
little
it.
boy for years.
Tiny.
Shall we just crack in, folks?
Yeah, just fixing my chair. Oh, now I'm out of frame. I'm so sorry.
This is Up Late with Hot Dogs. We're recording this Up Late with Hot Dogs. You remember that, Marnie?
No.
Yeah, you're not as young as you say. You remember Hot Dogs.
Perth special, Broden. That's what I'm going with.
The Perth special.
Perth
ready for the
special.
people in Perth. You ready to do this?
Nah, sorry.
You're going to say bounce that pill today, Marnie?
Yeah.
What's this jumper?
Oh my, can I talk? So I bought it in a vintage store in Japan because Japanese clothes fit me because I'm tiny. And I thought it was really cool and like I wanted people to be like, where'd you get it? And I'd be like, oh, vintage, I'm in Japan. Turns out it's like Harry Styles merch.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's one of his songs
It's not
apparently.
the same.
Should say
Dom Borg
really
says
quickly.
just came for the Drem test. Just came to this. He just saw the show that we just did. Took my mum as casual, but was my dad's first Donner experience. His words were, "What the fuck just happened? Brilliantly fucked work, boys."
Exactly.
Great.
It's a work in progress, but we're getting there.
And thank you for the 5, Richo.
And Dominic chucked in $15.
Thanks,
Incredible.
Dominic.
Thank you, Dom.
He's just really lining my pockets. I need to feed my one-eyed staffy, and you're helping me do that. Shall we do this?
Yep.
G'day, folks. If you're joining this special Thursday episode of the Footy with Marns, I've just walked off stage. We're recording this at T-minus 8:45 p.m. Such a big week in footy. I haven't even talked to Marnie very much before this moment. I want to hear about everything that's happened this week. Tom and I have not slept in a very long time, and that means we've gotta...
Bounce that pill.
So someone's actually deleted our titles. Remember last week I was like, oh no, I'm on the wrong scene? No, our scene's actually been deleted. So we don't have any opening titles.
Hit it.
Can't.
You do it.
How's it go again? Bum 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 ba dum bum ba bum ba dum bum bum ba dum bum ba bum ba bum.
And welcome to the Footy with Marns, everyone's favourite show of the week, if you ask me. G'day, Marns.
G'day.
How has your week been?
Lovely. It's, yeah.
Out of 15, how's it been?
12.
Yeah, that's fair.
Oh, 11.
Oh, we dropped off one.
Well, the weather, it's been quite miserable weather-wise. Well, I shouldn't say that because I like it being like cozy, but I have been caught in the rain a few times, which has been unpleasant. And on Monday I had news brekkie, which means I had to like get up at 4 a.m. But I got up at 4 a.m. and I could watch the French Open men's final because it was still going.
I heard it was
5.5
incredible.
hours. It was incredible. So like that kind of leveled that out. Hall of Fame was a lot of fun.
This is a footy show, but it is a wonderful week of sport with the French Open
goodness,
coming
it's the
to a
best.
close. No women in prime time, but still a pretty good opener, even once they sort that shit out.
Did you say pretty good opener?
Pretty good open.
Oh, yes. I was like,
Never
hey,
would I say
wait a
that much.
second.
Imagine if I said that to you. It's a very good open, apart from the fact that none of the women who Catherine Murphy did a thing about the other day are in prime time for some strange reason.
Yeah, and it was a really good women's final. Kokov beating Arina Sabalenka.
Oh, really? Coco.
Oh, yeah. Kokov was one set down, and then Arina Sabalenka had these like rogue press conference comments about how Coco didn't actually play incredible. It was just that the wind was taking the ball and like act of God kind of stuff. Anyway,
Act
whatever.
of God, hell yeah. And then as we're sitting here, the World Test Championship has started between South Africa and Australia, which is going off. I'd love to be able to watch that.
And the Socceroos are qualified for the World Cup.
Yeah, and the Socceroos are qualified for the World Cup. And Melbourne won on Monday.
No.
Oh, no, I just thought I may have blacked out. Okay. and some exciting news on the Melbourne front that we can talk to, I'm sure, in the news. Maybe not. Maybe I can bring it up. And then you last night went to the Hall of Fame
Yeah.
of the football world.
Yeah, the Australian Football Hall of Fame.
Now I have the question that's on everyone's lips. What were they serving for the food?
Oh, the entree was prawns in like this avocado cucumber dish thing.
A foam, a jus, a sort of puree?
More puree vibe, like really chunky guacamole vibe.
Oh, fuck yeah.
It was really tasty.
Did you eat prawns? Did you eat prawns?
Yeah, pesco.
Right.
And then also I had a Chardonnay. It was very nice.
Oh, yes.
I feel like I've hit my 30s.
Having a
like
Chardonnay
a now.
card.
And then it was the vegetarian meal that
Gnocchi?
Sorry, I just looked at Tom. It's just like you just look like you were blanking out for a second.
Oh, no, not at all. I'm engaged listening.
Vegetarian pie.
A vegetarian pie.
Yeah, delicious. Because then you get your vegetables in.
Yeah.
It's very tasty.
And then a little dessert.
Oh, yeah. It was like chocolate fondue with raspberry coulis. Is that how you say it?
Yes,
Kool-Aid or
yeah, Kool-Aid.
and a little chocolate that was shaped like a little Sharon.
A little Sharon. See,
very good.
that's beautiful little touch. But more importantly, was it a good night to go to with seeing all the Hall of Fame inductees?
Yes. Well, I wanted to talk about Days and Erin in the, flesh that out.
Well, in the news.
Yeah, unless you want me to just start talking now.
We can hit that sting. It's time for the news with our chief football reporter, Marnie Vinyl. Get that sting. Big weekend news. Marnie, where are we starting?
Melbourne lose to Collingwood by 1 point. The King's birthday clash. The floor is yours, Broden.
Go to hell.
Was it really 1 point?
Yeah, 72-71. When Max Gorn had that kick, I was just imagining you in that moment.
I can tell you what I did.
Yeah, please.
I was sitting there. I was very proud of him. I was like, "Where's?" I think we won a few quarters. I was like, "This is nice." Thought we had no chance against the premiers, and when he kicked that, I went, "All right, goodbye." And I got up and I walked out of the MCG. There was like 8 seconds left, so I was like, "Fuck it."
Did you know that there was 8? Because I was watching on the TV, so you did know.
I'm curious to know what people do now, because people talk about the 5-minute warning and knowing how much time, and there's people who have a love for the game that involves not knowing what the time left is.
Yeah.
But now, back in the day when I used to work at the G, there's all these places where there's a live clock. So if you're on level 3, you can go and see the timekeeper and see them press the button. Or if you're near the coaches' boxes, you can look in and see that the coaches have it. If you're in near media rooms, the countdown's on the things. But now, obviously, you just get your app out and you know that the app is about 10 seconds behind. So, but also the other thing, and the other place at the time is the people on the bench are putting up 30 seconds left, you know. So, it was pretty upsetting. We can't beat Collingwood, but it's going to turn eventually.
Oh, yeah, you gave it a red hot crack. I mean, to push Collingwood to 1 point is very impressive.
Yeah. And one day they're going to be bad and we'll be better. That's just the way football works. And when that happens, I'm going to be unrelenting. I'm going to be such an egomaniac when it comes. So, Colin, give it to me now. But I think Cozzy is just the most wonderful player. And I'm so happy that potentially he's sticking around a little bit low by all these speculative reports from all the trade people. I'm so happy for that. And it was a wonderful day for the slide. I was so wrong. I thought the slide people weren't interesting enough, but I thought it was a really nice mix. Cadell Evans, Ariana Titmus as Olivia Newton-John. That was awesome. And then
Alyssa Healy, that was my favourite.
oh, isn't she cool?
Yeah.
I think she's so adorable.
Yes.
Like so appealing as a person.
Yes.
Like she seems so cool. But yeah, it was a wonderful day apart from that one bit. I was sitting at a table with Mick Malloy and he was there for 10 minutes. And then the waiter came up and spilled an entire tray of drinks on Mick Malloy.
That's horrible.
Like 3 beers on him. I'm sitting next to him, did not touch me, did not touch the person next to him. And he went, "I'm going home." And he got up and walked out and didn't come back.
Yeah. I can
So
understand that.
so that was a fun day for him. But apart from that, just horrible.
I watched it at the Rose, and it was very fun just knowing that there were about 3 Collingwood supporters and everyone else in that pub was going for Melbourne.
Yeah, great.
That was very fun.
Oh, that's lovely. Yeah, no, we'll get better. I think our team's pretty good. Like, apart from a few weird losses, we could rise quite quickly next year, I think, and enjoy that pick.
Talking about rising quickly, Luke Beveridge has signed his contract extension. So he signed a 2-year extension to remain in the red, white and blue until 2027 after starting the year with a bit of speculation about whether he would be there next year or not. I think this is great. I actually really like Beveridge. I think he's done a really good job at the Bulldogs. He's coached more games than anyone else at the Dogs. So he's on 241 games, and this new contract should see him pass the 300 mark, which is cool.
Yeah. I think you should bring back that mustache, though. That should be part of the clause.
Oh, I agree.
Big handlebar mustache.
Yeah. And obviously he said this after he signed it, but he said if it wasn't here, it was nowhere. And I genuinely believe him when he says that.
He must be.
He seems like a Dogs man.
Yeah, he must be one of the more senior coaches in the competition now, which is crazy to think because I still think of him as one of the younger coaches. But no, now that Horse is gone, and yeah, he'd be one of the.
You've got a lot of
Experience
gall, Tom, for coming here and saying that, Tom. You've got a lot of gall for saying you go for the Suns, Tom
Yes.
Sahario. You
Yeah.
go for the Suns, and you should be ashamed of yourself. That's just my favourite quote from Bevo. Great, congratulations to the Doggies. I think he's the perfect place for him, and I think he's a low-key good coach.
Yeah, I do as well. And just word on the street, he seems very respectful of the women's program, and that's a huge barometer for me. And so I'm very thankful that he's staying.
Hell yeah.
Bulldogs are welcome back Sam Darcy for their Saints clash. This feels so poetic for him to do the injury against St Kilda, which looked initially like an ACL. He avoided surgery. It was a impaction fracture, an associated ligament. Oh my God.
Ligament?
Yep. Damage. And for him to now return against St Kilda. Perfect.
Firstly, I want to say that is cool. I want to imagine what a ligament is.
Sorry. Well, I was hoping that I could re-say that and then in the edit it would be fixed, but nope.
Ligament. I actually can't believe he's back. I thought that was going to be like maybe he's back at the end of the year thing.
Yeah.
If he's feeling good, look, like we were just talking about on Monday how there's no teams who are going to compete with the Pies. A very strong, endeared Sam Darcy loaded Doggies is a really scary thing.
Yeah, well, it's pretty crazy to think that Doggies aren't in the 8. I'm just double checking that I'm saying that, but I'm pretty confident.
They were 9th.
Yeah, they're 9th.
Yeah.
So they're on the same amount of points as Essendon, which is, I mean, there is a 40% difference.
There's a logjam in that little period though, because the GWS probably at the moment don't deserve to be 7th. Fremantle have started to get consistent. Bombers, yeah. Crazy.
And Doggies were missing half their team early as well. They had to play Suns in Darwin. They've had I think they're better than 9th, way better.
Oh,
Even off
definitely.
performance, yeah.
The Hawthorn one is their one outlier.
When was that?
Last week, they lost to Hawthorn.
By 30, but coming off a bye, so I didn't count it.
But that's the outlier. They should have won that one, but they get a free pass for all the other ones.
Yeah.
But Carlton was coming off a bye, Tom.
Yeah, no, it's not proven science, but I can say it when it helps support my argument.
You hear Josh Jenkins is mad at Tom
Why?
I've said Josh.
because he said the other day that Josh Jenkins was saying that the North West Coast game as he covered it was awful.
And he was, and I was,
yeah.
but I was very much enjoying it.
And on the 200 Plus podcast, the podcast for Ruckman, they played it on there, and he's like, "Look, I didn't go that far." And he's like, if he's out in the club, if he's in the club and Tom's there, then like shit's gonna go off.
Did they listen to this? Sam Draper, please stay at Essendon.
Josh Jenkins doesn't know what a Broden is, or like there's no way they're ever listening again. But yeah,
That's very funny. But also, so Darcy started the year, he kicked 14 goals in his first 5 games. He's going to be so good.
and you know that a second Darcy's hit the Bulldogs, yeah. And
Yeah. Because when I saw the clip, he looks exactly like
It's the same guy, two slender men.
yeah.
Just hello.
But he plays full back, is that right? That could just be something that people said.
Yeah, I mean, that's where you put him if you've got the other one at full forward.
No, I reckon Twin Towers down the front.
Yeah, I don't know what you mean by that, but go on.
Quick whip around. We've got Tom Harley's announced as a COO. So that was very strong speculation last week, but it's been official that the AFL poached Sydney Chief Executive Tom Harley to join the league, and he'll work alongside Andrew Dillon as the Chief Operating Officer. So this means that Swans will continue to go through a bit of a transition period following the departure of John Longmire as the senior coach at the end of last season.
Profound loss for Sydney. Really bad loss for Sydney.
Yeah.
Really bad. But huge. I reckon he'll be the CEO in 3 years.
Yeah. I also love just all of the memes about just the Geelong people that are just controlling the AFL, even the age push notification. And with the caveat that the age is a Victorian paper, so everything is through a Victorian lens. But the push notification that they had was former Geelong captain announced as CEO, not Sydney CEO announcers. Yeah, I just thought that was so
very
funny.
Melbourne.
Very Melbourne.
But yeah, a lot of conjecture on X about they've literally promised him the job and they've placed him in this spot with he's next up.
He has the things that made Gillan McLaughlin quite successful, I think, were that he was forward facing, very charismatic, and Tom Harley is such a good performer. Like, and he played football. He's like very great communicator. Like, I think if he's a good administrator, then I think, and if Andrew Dillon, if it's not going well for him, then I can see them make the push on that quite quickly.
Yeah. And I obviously know that he is a very good media performer and is probably just playing me. But in my interviews that I've done with him, he's been just fantastic. And I remember once just like signing in to like a Zoom and he just pops up and then just like footy at all. But he just wanted to talk to me all about what the Swans are doing. He was like showed me on the computer. He's like, look, you can see the under 15s training right now. And I was like, that's cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
That makes me excited. And also, obviously, his supportive pride round also makes me quite excited.
Great.
Zach Reid signed a 3-year extension at the Bombers, which is great.
Zach
We'll keep it all.
You got that's people want to be there. That's good.
It's excellent. Luke Beveridge is hopeful that Damari Ugle-Hagan will return soon. So that's definitely an interesting watch. And after all of the news earlier in this year about the soft cap and coaches wanting more room there, there will be some soft cap relief, as that was announced by the AFL this year. From next year, senior coaches can earn up to $100,000 outside the soft cap for marketing servicing agreements.
Can you explain that to me a little bit? How does that work?
No, I literally was like, I was preparing all this stuff on this, and then I was like, I don't know if this is the most interesting thing to our listeners. But I don't know what, so I stopped preparing. I wish you didn't ask me that.
I don't know what a soft, I don't really, do you understand it?
I mean, it sounds like they're able to be paid bonuses outside of the soft cap.
They can pay more coaches more money.
Yeah, so they could do a cotton on deal with a coach outside of the soft cap.
Yeah.
Why'd you say cotton?
Because that's what's on my mind with all this extra outside the soft cap stuff. But yeah, I can give you a salary of $140, but I can also get you to go to Melbourne Uni and lecture for half a day and you can get $50,000 for that and I won't get in trouble for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
That vibe.
Yep.
I think is my read.
Yeah. That's a pretty good.
Good enough for me.
Good enough for me.
It means you could get paid as do a half a day as physio as well and get paid for that as well as.
Selfishly, any reports on any Melbourne players re-signing or extending their contracts?
Talk about Cozzy.
Who? There's talk I've seen reported from lots of people that he might be extending with the D's.
You know what's so funny? Is the two of you going on and on about, I've heard, and then you just say, I've heard.
Yeah. What I'm hearing.
What I'm hearing is.
Yeah, I've heard.
What are your sources, Broden?
No, I'm just saying
news.
I'm just saying in the news that like Cal Toomey, I think, went with it. I think John Ralph went with it. That would be awesome. It looks like we're going to pay him a lot of money.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, I think that would just be huge for him and his family. So
he deserves it.
Get that bag. And I saw Simon Garlick say, "Stop talking. Don't keep our players' names out of your mouth." It's like, Simon Garlick, come on.
I would love if it created a rivalry between Freo and Melbourne.
Yeah, we used to have a good one when Jeff Farmer went back there and we got Jeff White, who was the number 1 draft pick. There's like an old one. They used to kick our ass, Freo. Anyway, that's some great news.
Who doesn't? Am I right?
Yeah. Marnie, tell us about the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, talking about a farmer, because Ken Farmer was elevated to Legends House. But
cool.
Yeah, it is actually. It is really cool. It's a really emotional evening being in that room.
Is it good?
Yes, genuinely, because the speeches are great. You can tell that the emotion is very real because everyone brings their families and there's all this like crying and all of the like, they do a really good job with the packages. And even I didn't realize there was going to be so much interest because even I was tweeting a bit after Erin Phillips and Daisy Pearce were inducted and then Twitter was going off. I mean, I know I'm in a women's sport echo chamber, but I was like, oh my God, everyone's watching. Like, that's great. And everyone like watched Erin's speech live, which was so emotive. I loved her speaking so slowly and so considered to make sure she got all her words out because you could, but just so like choked up with emotion. And I loved when the camera would pan to Erin or Daisy's fathers and they were just in tears.
So her relationship with her dad has been covered in the media a lot. Whenever, like when she found she was captain and when she went Port for the first time. But then the way it's that's a heartstring puller.
It really is. Also because like Greg Phillips is one of the most genuine people I've ever met. Just like such a family man. Yeah.
She said, did she say something along the lines of there was no pathway for me, but you kept teaching me how to play the game or something like that? I saw a quote.
So her quote was, I can't imagine having to tell your 13-year-old daughter that she has to stop playing the game that she loves and then 27 years later gets inducted next year in the Hall of Fame. Because both, so it's like very common that the generation that started AFLW, they all had to stop playing footy when they turned 13. And then they picked it back up usually around university. So both Erin and Daisy both had to stop playing when they were 13. Erin obviously went to basketball where she became...
She ended up coaching as well. And she
did, but she became 2-time WNBA champion, world champion, Commonwealth gold medalist and Olympic silver medalist.
Would you say that's
Absurd.
good?
So it's bad. And then came back to, obviously, when the AFLW was announced, she was like, going to try my hand at this. So she moved her family from the US back to Australia. And then she left the game as the most decorated elite women's football player to date. So she's a 3-time premiership player, 2-time league best and fairest, 3-time All-Australian, 2-time grand final best on ground and 2-time club champion.
So is that good?
Yeah, it's not bad. It's pretty good. But I just loved that she brought so much gravitas and so many eyes to the AFLW. Like she was someone that people came to watch. And I just think that did the world of good. Obviously, she had a lot of leadership at the Crows, but just to the league, like everyone knows her name. And then Daisy Pearce had a very different journey to her Hall of Fame induction where she was told she wasn't allowed to play, but she really stayed in Australian football and in women's football, and she played at Darebin. She's a 10-time VWFL and VFLW premiership player. So that's the other thing is we never got to see Daisy and Erin in their prime. So we know them as these amazing AFLW athletes who were just like the best of the best in these beginning years, and we never got to see them actually at their peaks. And then obviously Daisy became a premiership player, and that was her final game of AFLW ever, which is also a very poetic note. And they had to change they didn't have to. They did change the eligibility because you need to be retired for 5 years to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. But for women, it's just 1 year at the moment. Yep. They changed that last year. So these two.
I think no one would argue that these are the first two in easily.
Oh, my goodness, no. So Debbie Lee's the first female.
Yep.
And then these two are the first AFLW players. And you couldn't. Yeah, exactly.
Thinking about the impact and Erin Phillips being covered, after she won the flag, did she have her 2 bubs in? There's a photo of 2 twins?
Yeah.
Because that's, do Daisy Pearce and Erin Phillips both have twins?
Oh my God, no one's ever pointed that out before. Yes. Yeah.
The 2 goats of the game both have twins. I was going to say, and purely, we don't see it often with the men, but I think that's worth noting as well is they've both started families, and it's a big part of, I think, in women's sport is taking the time off to have kids if you want to have kids and moving around. That you're seeing with the captain of Carlton at the same time. It's to seeing I know as a Melbourne fan, seeing Daisy with her 2 kids on the ground in the grand final and how much she got around that, and just another thing that she got through in her career, it's fucking cool and it's worth noting.
It's so cool. It's fascinating because a women's athlete peak age is the same as a woman's fertility peak age. So it actually is this massive like conflict that a lot of athletes have to really
resolve or grapple with.
Yeah, and it's not an easy choice at all. It's really cool that Daisy managed to come back after having twins, and in her speech she gave a lot of kudos to her physio for being able to do that. I remember it was an interview that Daisy did ages ago, but she was saying that during her pregnancy, because elite athletes, like, you just have so much control over your body, like everything you eat and everything that you do, you're just in so much control, and then suddenly in pregnancy you have zero control and you're huge and all of these changes. And she said that the football club was the one place where she still felt like herself, because they were like making fun of the size of her and then making fun of her socks, and like she was the only place that she still felt like herself. And I just, footy can be very special.
Who else were the award winners?
Gary Lyon.
Yes. I have to say as well with Gary Lyon, all those photos that came out of him yesterday, for some reason when I was 5, I had a framed picture of Gary Lyon that I used to kiss.
What?
I don't know why. But I was like, oh, Gary Lyon, because he was the first Melbourne player that I loved. And he came past, because he was always injured as well. And he walked past me one day when I was really, really little, and as soon as, holy shit, it's Gary Lyon. So it was cool to see him inducted. Who else?
That's very cool. I gave my best mate Ashtam a AFLW poster thing of all of the AFLW players for Collingwood, and she would always, like in the mornings, be like, "Good morning, play well today." Nick Rewalt, Luke Hodge, Peter Daly, John Ledham, George Owens, and then Ken Farmer became a legend.
And Nick Rewalt?
Yeah, I said that.
Oh yeah, because I saw him.
Because Eric Banner was there.
Yeah, shit. Did you meet Eric Banner?
No, he walked past me and I was almost tempted to be like, and I was like, no, I can't be bothered.
Come on the footy pod, talk about the Saints, Eric.
That's all I had to add really to this whole thing, was like, you talked about how it was really like a buzz last night. And it was because like first time I can remember, it was like heaps of people that are like in our direct, in our faces got inducted. So it's like very popular people that are cool right now. So it felt very relevant.
People had a lot of strong feelings, which is great. I don't really like a lot of the Twitter dialogue on any given day.
Yeah.
But they're just like, why isn't this person elevated over this person? And I don't think the like comparisons are very particularly helpful.
No. It's looks like a good class. It's cool that you get to go and see that. I'm sure a lot of people would love to go and do that. I hear the stories are incredible, and like
the stories are incredible, and it's so cool just watching people. I was actually thinking about it, listening to the speeches about how there's no one to get them in trouble for what they say.
Yeah,
I mean there was a lot of jabs between Fox and Seven people. Really good spirit and like cheeky and stuff, but like, a little, which was honestly kind of annoying. But I was, because, even in the Brownlow or whatever, well, they contracted AFL men's players or women's players for the W Award. So they still would be so conscious of every single thing that they're saying. Can't bring the game into disrepute. But in speeches like that, they can just say whatever they want. It's great.
I mean, that's Front Bar's whole model was the footy show was on TV and it was just boring 26-year-olds surrounded by some fuckwits, and Front Bar went, let's talk to people who have no connection to footy anymore and are now real interesting people, and it destroyed Footy Show because it was interesting stories. It's great. So that's the news.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, Tom. Time for tipping.
Tipping.
I am the poster boy for mediocrity when it goes to tipping. I
think me and you would have it out, mate. I got 3 last week.
I just suck at it.
How many did you get last week?
6.
Yeah, so you doubled my score.
You got 3.
I got 3.
Pretty bad.
What's your total tips?
Total tips are 68, one off.
I got 61, mate. So I'm the lead mediocrity here.
Is it ABC where you officially put your tips?
I don't put them anywhere.
Oh, you just go. Fair enough.
Off the
There's
top
no
of the
way of marking them.
Yep.
Wow, we have a website actually for it. So
Oh, there is a website. There's a fan who has marked the website and every week.
Oh, no, really?
What's the
yeah,
website?
you know
again?
this. Remember we went through it.
I thought that was for our ladder predictors.
Yeah, but gets updated with the tipping as well. I believe.
Really?
I
Who's
believe.
winning in the ladder predictor?
Well, I
Put
should have
Tom
done
on
it
it.
at week 12, actually. I should have. So you're actually right. We are very overdue because normally I do it at 6, 12, 18, and 24.
Well, let's keep an eye on that as I talk about the first game, which takes place tonight at the home of football, the epicenter of great culture, Marvel Stadium. 7:30, St Kilda taking on the Darcy-loaded Western Bulldogs. 89% of people are tipping the Western Bulldogs, quite rightly.
Yeah.
Marnie, who are you tipping?
I'm going the doggies.
I would go doggies too.
Yeah, I'm going the dogs.
And I too am going the doggies. By
Also,
yeah.
no, just I saw a bunch of doggies at the Netty Derby, and I thought that was just so fun. It's so fun to turn around and see a bunch of AFL men's players at the Netty.
Can we take a pivot? I saw that it was the showdown or the derby or whatever the netball community call it between the Mavericks and the Vixens.
Yeah.
How was it?
It was so much fun. Annoyingly, Vixens were just so much better, and so it was like,
Yeah.
oh, and like the Mavs came back, and they got within like 7 or 8 or something, but it was kind of like, oh, Vixens have this. Would be nice if it was a bit closer.
Joe
But it was fun.
Weston.
Yeah.
I know most of these players as the people on the same plane as me for the last 4 months. I've been on with the Brisbane team, the Mavericks team, with the Vixens. They're all very tall and they
Yeah.
all like a coffee. That's what I know about them. Friday night. Do you have it up, Tom?
Yes, I do.
Tell me about it.
So, as you know, it's golf scores. So the lowest means the most correct you are. So Marnie's leading with 54.
Yes.
Oh, well done.
And then me and Broden are tied on 70.
Oh, that's a big gap.
Is
Yeah.
this for ladder
Hey.
predictor?
This is ladder predictor.
I'm so clever.
And it's interesting. The ones we were most correct about, we were most correct about North, Richmond, and West Coast collectively.
Sure, makes sense.
The most we were wrong about, and this is good. This is why I
GWS.
like checking in because this is great. We were most wrong collectively about Adelaide by far,
yeah, true.
then Sydney,
Yeah.
then Port Adelaide, then Essendon.
But
This is great.
you know, being right should be worth like triple points because where did I put the fucking Magpies?
Right. So Collingwood, you had them. You're right. Yeah, you got 0 points for because you had them in first, whereas I'm on 9 points and Marnie's on 4. So this is how I fall behind very quickly.
you have-
I'd put Melbourne in my bottom 4, and that's pretty close.
Oh, let's you know.
Yeah. Tell me, what do you want to know?
What's the tipping?
The tipping.
Yeah, where's Marnie at? I need this data. She tried to cover a trail.
So scores by rounds, scores by team host, best host per team. How is Broden going?
There's a whole tab called How is Broden Going?
Yeah, so I can break
Not
down.
well is the
Unwell.
answer.
So I can break down. So you're the most correct about Collingwood,
Hell yeah.
and you're the second most correct about Port Adelaide because you had them just dropping off massively. You're most wrong about Melbourne.
Yeah, so far.
And then we can see with Marns. Marns was most right about Melbourne.
Yes.
And second most right about Carlton. And wrongest about Gold Coast and GWS.
Yeah.
Don't like expansion teams.
And I was
No, I had him too high.
I was the rightest about Carlton and Brisbane and the wrongest about Port and Collingwood. Which makes
Rightest a
sense.
word?
No, and wrongest isn't.
That
even
doesn't
a
make
word
sense
either.
because didn't I had Gold Coast in my 8 and they're currently 5th.
Yeah, so which is a score of 3,
We're getting into the reads of it now.
which average it says minus 1.33. So I don't know how the average works.
Friday night, I'm moving on. We're moving to the home of harmonious, lovely football community, Tasmania, where it's Friday night at the University of Tasmania Stadium, which is in Launceston, which I'm going to go to later this year when I do my shows there.
Great.
Hawthorn versus Adelaide Crows. Interesting game.
Yeah, this should be good.
Hawthorn win in Lonnie. Crows are off a win, and they had their We've Arrived game
Yeah.
At home though.
at home.
Oh, that Darcy Fogarty tunnel ball to Ben Keys was one of the most exciting goals. I
Hell
loved
yeah.
it so much.
No, Ben Keys was delisted by Brisbane.
Yes, I do know that.
Fun facts. But yeah, this is where you come for the information.
Yeah.
I'm tipping Hawthorn in this one. Sorry, Adelaide. I know you think I hate you, but
No, Hawthorn should get this done comfortably, IMO.
No,
I'd be
Adelaide.
surprised if they didn't.
good on you, Marnie.
Oh,
Good on you.
Look at you,
I
man.
like that. Gabba, 120. That would be 11:20 in Perth. Brisbane versus GWS. 4% of people tipping GWS. Absolutely off them, the wider community has said. Giants, you suck, they've said.
Yeah, I had a piece that I wrote about Aaron Cadman that I did all the interview and stuff last week. And then it went up this week. And I was kind of like, oh, could you not have just won?
Yeah, I know.
It would have been so much easier to do this if you just won.
That's how I felt with Michael Voss as they watched Richmond run over them in round 0. Oh, no, round 1.
But I still think it was really interesting. You should go read it.
Oh, hell yeah. Check it out on the ABC.
Well, no, because I sent it in the Slack channel and neither of you's read it.
Because we were on stage, I think, or at least preparing to go on stage. But we will read it.
Yes, I haven't
Okay.
seen. Once I see my partner for the first time in 10 days, I'll have a read of that.
Read it to her.
Yeah, okay.
Annie will really care about the
She
development of key forwards.
loves footy. Anyone tipping Giants here? Got to go Brisbane, right?
I think Brisbane, but I will just say that I'm not writing off Giants yet. It is too early to write them off, but a couple more losses and it's going to be tough to see them make the 8.
Yeah, and it just seems like they take their losses very to heart. Like it really rattles them a bit.
The Giants.
Yes, the Giants. I'll go Brizzy.
Yeah,
Yep. Saturday, MCG, the Marnie Cricket Ground, Essendon versus the Geelong Cats.
This is the country game.
By God, this better be an Essendon home game or I'm going to do my nut. Is it an Essendon home
Oh,
game?
yeah, no, Geelong's on the right, which means that
Okay,
Essendon
good.
is the
Because
home game.
you can't, that goddamn stadium. That goddamn stadium.
They got pork barreling in the walls there.
Oh, my God.
Gorgeously painted walls, by the way. Not a speck of dirt on the
There's
stadium.
a chin
I
chin
was
in it.
very surprised by your podcast on Monday because I texted you, sorry about the Suns, and you just replied about how much you love GMHBA. So
Yeah.
I thought it was a really, really good.
Yeah, for me, it would go to perfect score except for the staff losing it a whole solid 1 point. Otherwise,
Tom is
perfect.
looking through the rose-coloured glasses of a man who has 2 kids under the age of 2 and hasn't left the house.
No, I think rose-coloured glasses of someone who convinced his 2 best friends to drive with him to Geelong to watch a game of football with which neither of them barred.
Wait a second, I wasn't there.
That's true.
It was a battle between you and Joe Koski.
Yeah.
7% of people are tipping Essendon for the country game at the MCG.
I know, it's so funny. isn't it? Imagine if you're a Geelong person, like, oh, we got to go drive down to the highway to the city for the country game.
Yeah. And it's sad that Tom Hawkins, the official farm guy, is retired, but he's been replaced with the new official farm guy, Angus Clark, the
Yeah.
official farm guy.
Well, I've got a piece about country football.
He's going to be on, what's that show?
my God.
What's the ABC show about? What's the, forget it. Never mind.
Anyway,
You got a piece about the country?
well, I will. I've got to write it after this podcast record, so who knows what I was going to say.
Hell yeah.
But
it's
I
going to be
should've
just a scan,
done a
attack on
podcast.
us.
Yeah, it is.
2 stupid guys I know. You going to tip the Bombers, Marnie?
No, I'm definitely not tipping the Bombers.
Oh, I hope Geelong just take them to the sword and really
Hey, yeah,
another
yeah.
100 points like the doggies did to
That
them.
is your children's team.
Who's the first?
Broden's starting a whole thing on the pod. Have you noticed? Ever since we were like, yeah, Atlas Barracks for the Bombers, he started bringing to the podcast on Mondays. Should you force your kids into...
It's child cruelty. I don't know what to tell you. Don't put it on anyone.
No, but Atlas only knows Bombers. That's every
Okay.
football that is on the screen. He'll say "Go Bombers." Well,
Yeah.
he'll actually say "No Bombers."
guys
Make him
know the
sound
Bombers,
like he's
know
a
the
child
Bombers.
born in the London Blitzkrieg, like in the London Blitz. He only knows bombers. Yes.
Oh, no, Uncle Broden. No, Uncle Broden.
He grew up in London in 1941. I'm going to go Cats.
Oh, absolutely.
You'd have to.
North Melbourne at Optus Stadium, Saturday night. Whoa.
Do you reckon they stayed?
North Melbourne.
Because they were in Bunbury.
Great question.
I
Yeah.
reckon they probably stayed. Bit of bonding.
I think they probably stayed bit of bonding.
Yeah, which means I think they'll beat Freo.
Oh,
No.
okay.
No. Fremantle beat North every day of the week.
Yeah,
No chance.
I give them a chance.
I
I'm not
give
going
him
to tip
a
them.
chance.
I'm not going to tip them, but I give them a chance.
Yeah, I'm not going to tip him either.
Sunday 3:20 Adelaide Oval. Port Adelaide versus Melbourne.
This is tough, actually.
Yeah.
This is very tough.
I'm tipping my D's this time. I think we are so due one. And I think that what's going to happen is Stephen May and Max Gawn are going to be like walk out and start fighting, and then Port will be like, oh, and they'll go now, and then they'll and then they'll turn, and then it'll be a whole play. Like the fight was all part of it.
I think it's a bad time to come up against Port at home after they managed to beat GWS last week.
They started to look good, yeah.
They're like found a bit of form. So I think I tip Port Adelaide as much as they've been awful all year, and Melbourne's a better team.
Oh my
Money.
goodness. I really don't know. This is hard.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like it.
Hopefully it's a good game.
Yeah.
We'll probably be watching this together because it's a community cup on Sunday.
Rec Link.
Yep.
That's why I think I asked you, could I go with you? Because it starts at 11, right?
Yeah, but it's like all day thing.
Yeah. Is he coming? The rapper.
Yep.
It's good, Broden. Very good.
That'll be nice.
All day. You know.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll be good. I mean, go to the Rec Link Community Cup, everyone.
Yeah, you can watch Broden lose his mind as Melbourne lose to Port Adelaide.
I'll be absolutely going home by this time. I can't be around people.
Yeah,
Well,
I-
Are you playing in the cup?
no, not at all. No, Marnie is though. Marnie's
Are you?
I wish.
Marnie's rocking.
No, I'd get too competitive. I'd have a cry.
It's rocking.
I think it'd be good. And then the last game, 6:10, Optus Stadium, West Coast Eagles versus Carlton. Danger game for Carlton.
What time are we going to podcast on Sunday night, Broden?
I think we're pretty safe. I think we're
This is
pretty
every
safe.
time.
It's kind of depressing. West Coast being bad, but then also being doomed to these Sunday night 6 o'clock.
No.
They're just linked with depressing
Every
vibes.
week, yeah.
Yeah.
And all year.
Yeah.
Who would you tip?
West Coast.
I'll be
Really?
No, but I would love it.
That's where I'm at. I really think West Coast will win, but I'm going to tip Carlton because my tipping is so bad. But I really think West Coast will win. I really give them. They were so much better last week, except they just kicked all those behinds.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's another great week of footy. We're getting through the buys. There's no buys that week?
Yeah. There's like 4 buys this week.
Who's out?
So Collingwood are out.
Yep.
Suns are out.
Yep.
Oh, come on, don't make me do it off the top of my head. Who else? Collingwood, Suns, Richmond are off, I think. I don't think we
Swans?
read
Did they
Richmond.
Swans?
And Swans.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, I hope you all enjoy it. Get to the Rec Link Cup. See Marnie and I there. Tom, have a great weekend.
Thank you, mate.
If you come into Drem, enjoy it. We'll speak to you soon. Bounce that pill. And thank you for watching. I can't believe we've moved the time and the same amount of people are watching. We've got a locked-in fan base of people who just turn out.
Yeah, I know. That's actually so sweet that there are so many people in the chat.
Thanks for doing it late this week, Marnie. We really appreciate it.
That's all right.
We're going to go to bed soon. I'm going to sleep in tomorrow. What is this thing you're doing?
I don't know. Don't draw attention to it.
How is Cameron not the farm guy? That's true.
Oh, yeah, Cameron, because he likes to round up his cows.
Were you working? Did you go on Triple J?
Yeah.
How was it?
Yeah, it was good.
Were they being? You could be like the Triple J sports person.
Yeah.
You could.
That
You'd
would
be
be
a
cool.
star.
Would you
Yeah.
like to do that?
Yeah.
I think that would be a vibe.
Yeah.
All right, let's get out of here. Any last questions from anyone before we get out of here? Let us know. Speak now or forever hold your peace, Jugsy McJug. Nighty night. Autumn. Marnie won Reddit RF. You won Reddit. Congratulations, Marnie.
I won Reddit.
That's what this person says.
Oh, thanks.
We're all insomniacs.
I'm so tired.
You were top of Reddit today.
That
lot of
made
people
me terrified. But then I went in and all the comments, well, it felt like our people were in there. And I thank you for that. Because I was very scared when I saw that a clip of me was in Reddit.
Oh yeah.
Oh, no. Paddy's saying we have an aborted takeoff at Melbourne Airport.
Oh no. Oh yeah. Shout out. Paddy wasn't here this evening. He's going to Sydney for a shoot.
Sounds like he's
Well, I hope
stuck.
you're okay, mate. Australia 3 for 67. God damn it! We got bad opening batters. All right, let's get out of here. Thanks everyone. Have a great night. Bounce that pill.
Love you. Bye.